Page 423, Chapter 25. You whole humankind of earth, you are, since time immemorial, searching for the truth, but in doing so, you do not know what you are actually searching for so busily, because you do not know the real truth. Your search for the truth goes through the world like a huge roaring, and echoes on all ends of the earth. But you find not that which you are really searching for, as over and over again you become entangled in some religious, ideological, or philosophical belief or other, and pray to a god, tin god, or human being, through which you move further and further away from the truth that exists only in the creation and in its laws and recommendations, and that you must fathom and recognize in yourselves, if you strive towards this uprightly, in a neutral wise, and thereby without any connection to a belief, God, tin god, or human being. You whole humankind of earth, you are being guided into the unreal, through false prophets and teachers, with false teachings, to one God, or to several, to tin gods, and to human beings that you shall worship and beseech. And you are flooded with a gigantic torrent of religious, esoteric, philosophical, ideological, and sectarian books and writings, and also with radio and television programs, and with websites in the internet, as well as with proselytizations of every kind, to make you captured believers of a religion, sect, ideology, or philosophy, or to bind you yet more strictly to them, that you become not secessionists, and that you turn not to the truth of all truth. Amongst all peoples, the schooled academics dig into old books and writings of all kinds, try to research them, and ruminate thereon, until their consciousness is exhausted and confused. And there appear amongst your entire humankind of earth ever more false prophets and teachers, with false teachings, who lead you further into the unreal and far from the truth, as has happened since time immemorial. They call themselves prophets, leaders, masters and sublime ones, and also substitutes and representatives of a god or tin god, and drive you with false warnings, promises, hopes, and predictions into anxiety and dread. And truly, they try everything to make you subservient to their belief, in which case a considerable number of them not only guide you into the unreal, but also exploit and abuse you in terms of your goods and chattels, your riches, and more than a few of you also sexually. And the new time brings with it that you, humankind of earth, let yourselves be deceived by all sides of the false prophets and false teachings, by all the irresponsible ones that attack you like a swarm of poisonous insects, and suddenly, in the fever of their delusion for well-being, want to bring over you a new light of the belief and godly redemption. As never before in all of time, new sects of all kinds are springing up like poisonous mushrooms out of your society, and are rummaging through your mental block, your consciousness, and your thoughts and feelings, as well as your psyche, with their belief of well-being. And this truly in a kind and wise that is neither refreshing nor quickening, but that on the contrary causes terribleness in you, sears you through the fire of the deluded belief, and suckles and takes from your last energy and power, and also from your weak rationality and your inadequate intellect that still have remained to you in your demolished gloominess of your present life, in a present in which, through your irrationality and selfishness, you strive to destroy the world, its nature, as well as the life, through your rampant overpopulation, which, out of sheer egoism, you do not want to get under control. Stirring in you in a religious, belief-based whispering and murmuring wise, is the hope of a growing expectation that help is approaching, that will release you from all terrible things, which is why you are uncalm and full of expectation in your longing. You, however, let yourselves be talked into this false hope and this false expectation through false prophets, false teachers, gurus, masters, sublime ones, and others that exploit you and guide you into the unreal, so that you become fanatical and incapable of recognizing and realizing even one iota of the real truth. So you vegetate away in irrational belief in godheads, tin gods, demons, and human beings, who raise themselves up above you religiously, ideologically, or philosophically, in order to abuse you in many wises and even to drive you to commit suicide en masse. You whole humankind of earth, it undulates and surges in you through your religious, sectarian, ideological, and philosophical belief forms, and truly there lies upon you in a gloomily brooding wise a stupefaction of fanatic belief, and just as fanatic devotion and submissiveness, that you do everything, even murder human lives, to fight for your belief. The whole scenario of your belief of any kind is pregnant from terribleness, out of which only evil and Ausartung can spread forth and be born. Truly, you whole humankind of earth, you live in a belief-based confusion, filled with pusillanimousness and ruin. And if you do not finally tear up powerfully the dark coating around your belief, which enwraps also you yourselves, then you will have a very evil future. The dark coating around your belief is like a sticky and stringy, dirty and swampy mass that absorbs and chokes every free thought of light that comes to you before it can even begin to act to the smallest degree and become strong. The swampy mass of your belief in gods, tin gods, demons, as well as in angels and saints, and in a devil, chokes the truth in you and brings forth a weird silence there, because you have sunk into a belief swamp, and not even one healthy thought to the truth-finding can grow up in you, because an impulse for this is already nipped in the bud, and decays and destroys everything before even one iota of a recognition of the truth can come about. You, however, who are blatantly searching for the light of the real truth, all energy and power is no use to you if you do not get rid of and drain the swamp of the unknowledge and the untruth in yourselves, and if you think that through shouting and big words you will find the true light of the truth, your loud shouts and big words become fainter and fainter and go unheard, as if in a desolate wasteland amongst all impostors, gurus, masters, godly ones, sublime ones, false prophets, and worshippers, and servants of the gods, tin gods, demons, angels, saints, and of the evil, which you call the devil, as all of these whom you believe help you are leading you away from the real truth and into the unreal. Truly, they do not feed you with the bread of the truth of all truth, with the creational laws and recommendations, and with all the love, knowledge, and wisdom contained therein, but rather they offer you stones of the unknowledge and the untruth as nourishment, so that you break your teeth thereon and lead a painful life. All of them, those who deceive you to the untruth and to the unknowledge, they offer you countless books, writings, and teachings that are full of falsehoods and guidance into the unreal, and that stupefy and tire out your human consciousness, instead of it beginning to live. And if you consider this truth, by finding it in yourselves, recognizing it and working it out, then you will find in yourselves the proof of the unfruitfulness of all the false and irrational teachings that are ingratiatingly presented to you through all those irresponsible ones who raise themselves up above you as masters, gurus, teachers, sublime ones, godly ones, priests, representatives of gods and substitutes of gods, or as self-raised glorifications, and let themselves be adored and worshipped by you. Consider that such ones ingratiating themselves with you are deceivers and slanderers of the truth of the creation itself, as well as of its laws and recommendations. And through their untruths, through their unknowledge, and through their senselessnesses, they tire out your consciousness. But this is truly never of rightness. It is not cheating on the truth that stills the hunger of your consciousness for knowledge and wisdom, but rather the bread of the truth, as the truth alone refreshes and quickens you, and the light of the truth warms you and gives you life. It is understandable if many of you human beings of earth are almost faint-hearted when you see and experience how abominably the real truth is treated, and that through your religions, ideologies, and philosophies, as well as through the esotericism, the sectarianism, and the so-called spiritual science, walls are built up around the truth so that it is not open to you, and you stumble in truth-unknowing confusion. And everything that they offer you in terms of all the irrational, confusing, wrong, and far from the truth teachings, you cannot really understand, because they are written in strange expressions and words, as well as in academic sentences, with which you give yourselves airs and boast if you can name them, but in reality you understand them every bit as little as those who write, teach, and spread the whole drivel of the wrong teachings. The true spiritual science consists, however, in the quote, teaching of the Spirit, i.e., in the quote, spiritual teaching. And this is not complicated, and is to be understood and comprehended by each of you human beings, provided, of course, that you bear intellect and rationality, and are not captured in a confused belief. You speak always of your imaginary gods or tin gods, of your angels and saints, as well as of your gurus, masters, sublime ones, and self-appointed divinities, etc., and assume that universities shall be established for these senselessnesses, if indeed in certain cases you have not already done so, in order to be able to obtain the ability in yourselves to recognize and to comprehend the term God, tin god, angel, or saint, etc. But truly, your pathological craving concerning this is merely connected with an irrational and confusing belief, as it is also, to a great extent, in your wrong ambition that is rooted in your wanting to shine before your fellow human beings, and to be heard by your god or tin god, angel or saints, and to appear great before them. And truly, you believers in a godhead, a tin god, or a demon, in angels and saints, in gurus, masters, sublime ones, emissaries of gods, and self-appointed gods, or representatives of gods, you are tumbling like drunkards through your life, and from one belief delusion to another, and in doing so, you are one-sided, unfree, and unsure in yourselves, because you have been led astray from the simple way of the truth. On the one hand, through the blame of all those who deceive you to the untruth and to belief, and on the other hand, through your own guilt, because you only want to think about a belief, rather than turn consciously to the truth, because you eschew the bearing of the responsibility that is connected with the real truth of all truth.